Hi, I'm Jim again, and on this section of the video I will be showing you how to weave the fabric into the loom. Now, over the past few weeks, hopefully each parish family, the parishioners, have been bringing in strips of fabric 4 inches wide by at least 34 inches long, or it could be an old tie. We have a couple ties here. Ties work well. Perhaps maybe a scarf might work well if it's maybe a chiffon scarf or something, a very long one. We've got a piece of fabric that has the word "believe" on it, and so just something unique for each family. Okay, so what I've done, first I have woven in one tie, and I started on the left side, and the first string was on the top, the second string was on the bottom, next string on the top, next string on the bottom. So I wove it through the whole loom like that. Okay? So I've got one tie in there. The next tie, since the first one I started with the first string on top, the next row will be the first string on the bottom, the second string on top, third string on the bottom, fourth string on top. And as you can see, the strings are kind of grouped into two. So out of each of those two groups of, or one group of strings, two strings, either one's going to always be on the top or one on the bottom for each row. So I'm going to continue. I just made a mistake, and that's what you have to do. I stopped, and I have to make sure that my first string was on the bottom. I had put it on the top. So this isn't a very hard thing to do, more of a tedious job to do. And you just have to make sure that your strings are either on top or on bottom the way they should be for that row that you're working on. Okay, so I've got two ties in there. What I did, if you notice with the ties, the first tie has the wide part of the tie on the right side here, and the skinny part is on the left. So on the second row, I put in another tie so that when I pull it, now I've got the wide part of the tie on the left and the skinny part on the right. And so when I pull it down, okay, I have 4 pieces of fabric woven in here. Yes, 3 ties and one piece of fabric. Now, instead of leaving the fabric flat like this, which takes up a good maybe 8 inches, what I'm going to do is I've strung in a dowel rod. This is about, I would say, use a good ½ inch width dowel rod, and you're going to string it in. You can start either with the first string on top, or you can start with the first string on bottom. It doesn't really matter. I started with the first string on the top, and then the second string on the bottom, third string on top, fourth string on the bottom. And I'm going through the whole thing. So I'm going to finish up here with the dowel rod. Okay, now what I'm going to do with the dowel rod, I'm going to pull it down, and for these first few rows here, you may need to just help the fabric down with your own hands. Okay, I'm right against the nail here. Okay, and put the dowel rod I'm pulling the fabric, pushing the fabric down with the dowel rod so that it squishes together. So I've reduced the amount of fabric on the loom from about 8 inches to about 3 inches. And so I'd be ready to continue. So the next part of the video will be the last part of the video, and we'll talk about finishing the banner and finishing the edges